At 20.5 kilometers with 356 meters of elevation, London Uprising is quietly one of the most difficult Z-racing courses you'll face. On paper, it doesn't look extreme, but in practice, this race is almost always decided early, and that reason is Fox Hill. Because that climb can completely change how the race unfolds, I've expanded this recon to include 3 different scenarios, using race footage from Adam, Road to A, Colin Coates, and myself. Each rider approaches Fox Hill slightly differently, and the outcome of their race reflects it. This is a point-to-point route that begins near Tower Bridge, just outside the London start pens. You'll cross the bridge and head straight into the underground. This opening section is flat and fast, but it is not the time to push the pace. Just like you see here, this is where you want to sit in, draft, and conserve as much energy as possible. The only real goal in this opening phase is to reach Fox Hill as rested as you can. As you exit the subway tunnel, slowly start moving forward in the group. You don't need to be at the very front, but you do want to be in the front third before the climb begins. One subtle but important detail, Fox Hill begins with a very brief dip to around -1%. This is the perfect opportunity to push slightly and use momentum to improve your position. In my race, I reacted a bit late. Instead of moving up during that dip, I stayed mid-pack, which forced me to push harder just to reach the KOM start line. Ideally, you want to arrive at the KOM line already well positioned in the draftable yellow, so you can ease into the climb rather than surge into it. This matters because Fox Hill is no joke. Fox Hill is 2.4k long, 120.7 meters of elevation gain, average gradient 4.3%, but that average is misleading. The final third of the segment is downhill or flat, which means the actual climb proper averages closer to 7.4%. My best time through this segment is just under 6 minutes, averaging a bit over 4.5 WKG, and even that requires very careful pacing. Scenario 1, bonking. My race, of course. As the pulsing KOM line appears and the gradient snaps up past 7%, you can see my positioning already being compromised. I start this effort in the middle to rear of the pack, and that immediately puts me on the back foot. This is where things unravel. Because of my position, my only option is to push hard early to move up before drafting becomes more effective. The better strategy would have been push slightly harder on the steepest lower slopes to move forward, then ease back into the group once the gradient settles to 4 to 5%. That's where you want to be enjoying the marginal gains of the pack. Instead, I'm outputting similar power to riders ahead of me, but I'm losing ground because I'm not in the draft. My competitive instinct kicks in and I make another hard dig to bridge. I almost get there, but again, the group slowly pulls away. At this point, hindsight says I should have waited and worked with another group instead of trying to bridge solo. The final 2 steep ramps, both over 8%, are where things really go south. I blew up earlier, and now the riders who pace this climb better are riding straight past me. By the time I crest Fox Hill, I'm completely alone. Scenario 2, damage control. Adam's race shows what composure looks like. He's also dropped from the front group, but instead of panicking or chasing solo, he settles into a sustainable effort. This restraint keeps him from fully bonking. Because of that, Adam is able to integrate smoothly into another group, recover on the descent. The key lesson here, not bridging immediately can actually save your race. Scenario 3, ideal execution. Colin's footage is the gold standard of how Fox Hill should be ridden. What's even more impressive, he's doing this in tennis shoes. As the KOM line appears, Colin is already near the front of the pack, and crucially, he does not chase the early flyers. That positioning gives him flexibility. He eases slightly back into the largest part of the group, adds small bursts of power when needed, and continuously prioritizes being in the draft. When additional riders jump off the front, Colin maintains his position rather than reacting. As the climb strings out, his group starts making serious inroads on the flyers ahead. By the time the steepest ramps are done and the road turns downhill, it's clear those early attacks were unsustainable. After the KOM banner, Colin stays on the pedals because the road is slightly uphill and even kicks above 4% in places. If you feel like you're losing contact here, this is a great time to use a power-up. You'll get another chance before the final climb. This is Fox Hill ridden correctly. Back to my race, we return to the flats, and now riders who were 20 plus seconds behind are catching me. The first real test post Box Hill is the 15% incline as you exit the subway again. This section always hits hard. Begin pushing before the gradient ramps up, especially if you're towards the back of the group. That momentum can save you when the group stretches. From here, a moderate 5% bridge climb, then the flattest section of the course. As you pass Big Ben and approach Trafalgar Square, the road undulates slightly before a short red section. This is prime terrain for puncheurs to attack. Don't panic. Stick with the group. Satellite groups rarely survive here. Before the sprint banner, think carefully about your power-up. Realistically, the feather is the only one that truly matters for the finish. If you don't have it, consider re-rolling and hope for the best. Post-sprint, you likely won't see many attacks. There's a slight rise, then decline as you pass Buckingham Palace. Everything is largely flat. Stay in the pack, maintain your positioning, and react to moves as you need. Box Hill is what you need to worry about. This is the final sorting. The climb itself is 3 kilometers, 134.7 meters of elevation, average gradient 4.4%. Strategy here is much simpler. The first 800 meters are the steepest. This is where positioning matters most. If you can, tailgun slightly and use the group's momentum to slingshot through the first red section near the KOM line, focused on the single darkest red portion of the gradient graph. Once you pass that, the worst is behind you. If you have a feather and you're out of position here, consider using it. Being in the draft for the rest of the climb is more valuable than saving it. The two 3% switchbacks are tricky. The easing gradient can disrupt rhythm, so settle in, stay smooth. After the final switchback, you've got just under a mile at about 5%. If you have anything left, this is where to apply pressure. Be careful not to overdo it. I made that mistake, and it cost me on the final flattening where flyers gain an advantage. When the road turns negative, react quickly. Moves here stick. Huge thanks to Adam and Colin for allowing me to use their race footage. Make sure to go check out their channels. Hopefully this helps you ride London Uprising a little smarter. I'll see you in the next one.